So I arrived at Pulse nightclub probably around 12:30, um, and I was there with two other friends, and we just were having a good time, dancing, talking, and toward the end of the night, we moved toward the rear bar, which was had a Latin bar section and a hip hop bar section. So toward the rear of the building, that's where I ended up with my friends. And right around 2 o'clock, they stopped. Right around when they stopped serving alcohol, that's when we heard the first round of shots go off. So immediately, my friend and I fell to the ground to take cover. My initial thoughts were maybe there was an altercation. It was personal, so stay to the ground until it's over. But then we heard additional rounds going off. So at that point, my friend and I ran to the bathroom in the rear. There was a bathroom on the left and the right. The bathroom on the left had a large handicap stall, which we knew about, so we ran in there. And when we arrived, there were already people hiding in the handicap stall. So we continued to hear gunfire. We dropped to the ground in that handicap stall. I hid as best as I could underneath the sink. There wasn't much protection there, but I felt it was better than nothing. Um, my friend Jeff was in front of me. There were a couple of other people surrounding us, but I believe overall, maybe about 15, maybe 15 to 20 people, if I'm recalling correctly, in that handicap stall, just hiding. So we just continued to hear gunfire, and I just remember thinking, when is it going to stop? Because if it was personal, usually that shouldn't last too long. So I just kept hearing gunfire over and over and over again, and it kept getting louder, closer, and I can actually start to smell, I don't know, I guess it's gunpowder, I'm not sure. It kind of smells like when firecrackers go off. So everyone in the stall where we were we were all trying to just be as quiet as possible. We didn't want to attract attention, but the gunfire kept getting closer and closer. And at one point, everyone was just like, shh, shh, be quiet, be quiet. And that's when bullets start going through the stall wall towards us. So I can't recall exactly how many bullets, but it sounded like it sounded like he unloaded essentially. And I was hit with my foot, my left foot, my right knee. I thought I was shot a third time, but it ended up being a graze. My friend who was with me was hit as well, and his injuries were worse than mine. And overall, there was just a lot of blood, a lot of people were hit, and even some fatalities which were apparent almost immediately. So everyone was just, panicking. After the shot stopped, the gunman leaves to the other bathroom that was adjacent to us, and we hear more gunfire on people's street. At that point, we were just trying to be as quiet as possible because we didn't want to attract him back to us. So we just laying down, trying to assess the situation. I dialed 911 a few times, tried explaining to the operator what was occurring, what was going on, while continuing hearing gunfire. And some time went by, and kind of quiet down a little bit. I finally heard the police arrive. I heard police yelling, "Drop it, hands up," and but I don't know what was going on. So eventually, kind of quieted down some more. I was bleeding. My friend Jeff was bleeding a lot. I was on the ground in a pool of blood. I wasn't sure whose it was, but I felt like it was my friend Jeff because he was hit right around here. I could see a bullet hole right here. He was sweating, just looked overall really weak and in bad condition. And my thought process was, do we stay here and wait for the shooter to come back, or do we try to leave? So I tried maneuvering so I can exit underneath the stall, but then people, they were like, no, stay here, don't go anywhere, because you will get killed. So I stayed there for a little while longer, but everything just kind of quieted down, and all I heard was police chatter on the radio from the distance. I didn't hear any more gunfire. So at that point, I decided to, little by little, drag myself underneath the stall to exit the handicap stall where we were. Once I got out of there, I saw that there was a body in front of the door on the opposite side. I didn't see anyone else around, so I couldn't walk, so I had to drag myself out of the bathroom toward the bar area where I was initially, and until I actually saw like the face of a police officer. So when I finally saw an officer, I had my cell phone in my hand and I started waving the light so that he can see me. And at that point, the officers instructed me to lift my hands, drop whatever I had in my hands, and they instructed me to drag myself toward them. I yelled, I said, there are people shot, people who were killed in the bathroom, we need your help. But they weren't coming near me. They just told me to drag myself toward them. So once I got, I guess, close enough, a couple of the SWAT grabbed me by the arms and dragged me outside. And at that point, I was just telling them, my friend was shot. There were several people there who I believe are dead. And there are at least 15 people in there. Like, we need your help. We need someone to go in there. And at that point, they asked me instructions on exactly where the bathroom was. And after I told them, they put me in an ambulance and brought me here. So after that, I didn't really know what else occurred. I never saw the face of the shooter. I didn't know if it was a male or female. I didn't even hear the shooter speak. So it wasn't until I actually saw on the television what the shooter actually looked like. So I didn't know anything about my friend Jeff, about the third friend we were with. It was just a matter of getting to the hospital, and I was grateful to the staff because by the time I got to the hospital, they said my blood pressure was already very low. I was dizzy, cold. They gave me 2 units of blood to kind of stabilize me, and after that, it's just been here. So thankfully, I heard eventually that my friend Jeff, he was in critical condition, but as of last night, he's stable. And our third friend, miraculously, she didn't even suffer any injuries, so she's doing very well. But I'm just grateful to be alive because after seeing what occurred, I don't even know how I'm alive today. So that's pretty much what I know.